Well, the behavior you're seeing right now is not completely natural for Nile crocodiles. They're not going to come up an embankment when an animal calls them, come, come, come. But in the wild, what will happen is they'll wait to the edge of the water. As soon as there's an animal there, they'll grab it, pull it into the water, drown it, and this then stimulates the rest of the crocodiles to get involved. So it turns into a feeding frenzy. So what will happen is they'll start grabbing chunks of meat, ripping pieces off. Crocodiles, unfortunately, don't have flat teeth at the back of their mouth. Those are our molars. We are the ones that have molars. That allows us to chew our food into nice small pieces, and we can swallow it. Crocodiles, sharp, serrated teeth. No chewing. Crushing, swallowing. They swallow their food completely whole. That means they eat every single thing, from feather to bone to horn to fur. It all goes down and gets digested by their very powerful digestive juices. You may have also heard a popping sound a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago from one of the jaws of the crocodiles. That popping sound is the sound of their muscles of their jaw popping as it closes. It's not because their mouth is hollow. The popping sound comes directly from the back of their mouth. So if you look very carefully, you'll see that they have rows of teeth at the top jaw and the bottom part of their jaw. Just behind where the teeth end, the smallest teeth are at the back, just behind there is a heart C shape. When a crocodile opens up its mouth, you'll notice there's a brown or yellow folds at the back there. Those are those powerful muscles, or jaw muscles. Those jaw muscles have 2.5 tons of breakpoint pressure behind them. You'll notice that when the crocodiles eat, especially if they're in the water, they need to raise their head out of the water to swallow their food. Now this is because they don't have lips. It might sound a bit strange me telling you they don't have lips because it's quite obvious. But for us, we allow our lips to close, and that means when we go into water and our lips are closed, no water goes down into our mouth, down our throat, into our stomach and lungs. Crocodiles don't have lips, so they have a flap. The flap is a gular flap. It's a flap of skin directly at the back of their throat. It seals the back of their throat to prevent any water from going down into their stomach or into their lungs. Only way for them to other young males joining us. The only way for them to be able to lower that gular flap is to lift their head up. So even when they're on land, they'll lift their head up. That allows the gular flap to slide down and allows the food to slide past it into their throat and down into their stomach. In the wild, you get a lot of feeding frenzy, so as soon as there's movement in the water, all the crocodiles get involved, which is exactly what's been happening. The crocodiles start getting involved, grabbing chunks of meat. You may see some crocodiles grab each other. Do not worry, they have very powerful skin. They have a lot of scales on their body, and that protects them from any potential bites. Also, crocodiles have very high white blood cell count, so even if there is a slight scratch or a bite mark, it pretty much heals in a couple of days because there's lots of white blood cells that go in there to kind of block it up and close it up. You might also notice that we have some birds joining us during the feeding. These are grey herons or Crocodiles. Now these guys have grown up with the crocodiles. They spend most of their life here, and they know that during feeding time they get an opportunity to get some food. A lot of the questions we get asked is, do crocodiles eat the birds? Yes, the crocodiles do eat the birds, but it's a lot harder for them to catch them. So it's a lot easier to wait for a dead flying chicken to fall in your mouth than a real flying chicken. You'll notice how sensitive the crocs are to any movement in the water. They pick up on those vibrations through the water. As soon as the chicken or somebody moves in the water, they all turn their heads to try and go towards it. So they're immediately picking up on that vibration, which helps them to catch their prey in the wild. Now, crocodiles in the wild can go without food for about 4 weeks in summer, and in 6 months, so about